Hey everybody, welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Mega Man 8. Okay, so what can I start to say about Mega Man 8? Like, you had 1 through 6 on the NES and 7 on the Super Nintendo, and then 8 was the first on the PlayStation. And I remember going to a video rental before I even owned a PlayStation. You know, I went in, they had the games for display and you could read the manuals, and like, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. You know, all the Robot Masters have backstories, you know, there's all this cool anime looking art, but I didn't have a PlayStation at the time. And so like a year later, I went to a friend's house and he had all these import games, so he actually let me borrow Rockman 8. And so that was my first exposure to playing Mega Man 8. And I got to hear the really cool electrical communication song at the beginning. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool. But so like, how did the game just kind of play? Now, how can I explain this? Like, you know, 1 through 6 had really solid play control, 7 felt kind of clunky, and 8 felt like I was playing an anime. I was playing the anime. I was playing an anime game. It kind of felt different. It wasn't really Mega Man anymore. It was like a Mega Man anime game I could control. Well, a lot different than Super Adventure Rockman, obviously. Yeah, one of the first things that comes to mind about this game is it's very goofy. Like, very, very goofy. I mean, but I played the Japanese version first, so I got to hear all the cool Japanese voices. And then maybe around 2 years later, I borrowed the US version from a friend, and then I heard the voice acting for that.
Hey Zach, why must I fight you? We are not enemies!
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Megaman, you must go after him. We don't know who he is, and it's dangerous to leave him alone.
Woo!
It's over, Whitey!
Oh my god. You had Little Boy Mega Man, and then you had Elmer Fudd, Dr. Light. I thought Bass and Dr. Wily kind of sounded okay. It's just... Oh my god, that voice acting was... Woo! Oh my god. Especially the voice acting of the Robot Masters. My favorite one was Grenade Man. When he died, he's like, that felt good!
That felt good!
So this game was pretty out of this world, especially the Robot Masters. You had Clown Man! Clown Man! Woo! Clown Man! Woo! Yeah, Clown Man. Then you had Tengu Man. I mean, I know we had Yamato Man in 6, but Tengu Man was also kind of weird. And then, but we also had the standard fare Robot Masters like Freeze Man, Grenade Man, because that feels good. And then Aquaman and all the other Robot Masters. I remember really being stuck in Astro Man stage. I mean, everyone knows like this place was kind of a maze and you had to get through it. I had to resort to a guide to beat Astro Man's level. I mean, there was no level like this in the previous games, and that kind of felt a little off. Oh, don't forget Search Man. Search Man he's a searchy robot. Ooh, Search Man.
Ready? Yeah, let's go.
And one of the most infamous things about this game is jump, jump, slide, slide, jump, jump, slide, slide, you die! And you're gonna die a lot! Because it's Mega Man 8! Yeah, the snowboarding parts were not my favorite thing in this game, even though you go through a couple of them. And most of them are pretty crappy. Oh, I mean, I remember dying so much, especially the first Dr. Wily stage. Like, if you lost to the boss at the end of that, and you lost all your lives, no, you're back at the beginning of that stage. Jump, jump, slide, slide. And one thing I really didn't like about this game, I liked in 7 where you can collect bolts, you know, to make power-ups, but in 8 you had a limited amount of bolts to get. So if you spent your bolts on one item, then you weren't going to get any more bolts unless you found more. And these bolts are a bit hard to find. Yeah, but with these bolts, I like building, the laser Mega Buster, which is kind of cool to use against, the Yellow Devil and Bass at the end of Dr. Wily's castle. And I remember you can get like a shock guard where you fall into spikes, but you'll be okay for one hit and you can quickly jump back up, which really saved me a lot in that game. So let's talk about the anime cutscenes. I mean, I actually thought these were pretty cool since I played the Japanese version first, so I didn't hear the US acting till another 2 years later. And I thought these were pretty cool when I first played them. I didn't understand anything that they were saying, but and they looked a lot better than the Mega Man cartoon, This was more of the super fighting robot, man. This was more the super fighting robot. Although Dr. Wily's outfit looks a bit dastardly, ugh. And one of the coolest things about this game is I actually like Duo. I mean, Duo had a pretty cool purpose for the game to introduce the dark energy. Dr. Wily was using it to power his robots, and I actually like Duo as a character. I mean, it was cool that he was playable in the arcade game. So, in my opinion, I always felt the Mega Man games were kind of moderately difficult, but not super difficult. Like, you can just kind of turn them on and play and beat them, until Mega Man 7, where they really spiked up the difficulty, and Mega Man 8 really spikes up the difficulty, like, boom, like that. I mean, besides the jump, slide, there's that part in Tengu Man's level where you have to ride the bubbles, and if you mess up once there, you're dead meat. You are dead meat right there, man. And also, in this game, they decided to take out the energy tanks, which really made it difficult. So you only had like maybe 1 or 2 options to heal. Like, Rush had this special thing where he dropped items for you, and then there's Flip Top. Eddie, I'm sorry. It's Eddie now. He would give you items, but if you were fighting a boss of Dr. Wily's castle and you had if you didn't have Rush to give you items, you were dead meat, man. You were dead meat. But one good thing is, the battle with Dr. Wily in this game was not as hard as the one in Mega Man 7. I mean, that was a really hard battle. I mean, I found Dr. Wily in this game to be a tad easier, but he's not that much easier, if you know what I mean. And one cool thing about this game is, I have the Anniversary Collector's Edition here. You get this really cool anthology booklet which shows you all the Mega Man Robot Masters up to Mega Man 7, so I thought that was really cool. I've also played the Saturn version, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, you can fight Cutman and Woodman to get some bolts, and there's an unlockable gallery from the beginning of the game, or I think when you beat the game. Although, in all honesty, the Saturn version is very hard to find, so I would probably recommend just having the PlayStation version. So, Mega Man 8, I don't think it's a terrible game. It's not a terrible game by any means, but I mean, it's a decent game. I can't really call it a good game. I mean, there was a lot of mistakes they made with this game, especially with the level design, the really amateurish voice acting. Oh my god. I mean, I'd recommend playing the Japanese version of this if you can, even if you don't know any Japanese. But overall, I mean, it's a worthy addition to the collection, but it's a bit more out of this world. It feels kind of like a spin-off in some sorts. I mean, Mega Man is like squash and stretch, goofy anime type man in this now. Yeah, so Mega Man 8, you can actually get this on the Mega Man Anniversary Collection for the GameCube or the PS2 or the Xbox, but though I will warn you, the sound is a bit off. Like in the PS2 version, the explosions are really BAM like that. But there is a really good emulated version on the PlayStation Network, which I also own, and I really recommend having that. So that wraps up this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories. I'm Ryan, and if there's a game that you would like for me to talk about here on Awesome Video Game Memories, just leave that in the comments below. Take care.